folks, it's Nick Granville. Welcome to Guitar Daily. It's Nick Granville coming to you from Wellington, New Zealand. So today I thought I'd talk about, answer some questions from a guy called Chris Mullen, 1835, I guess that's the username. And there's some questions he asked in here that I thought might be useful to everyone, so why not, let's go into this. He says, super video, Nick, thank you, sir. Awesome playing and awesome video, very inspirational and motivational. Thank you very much, I appreciate that. You obviously know your fretboard like the back of your hand and your phrasing is super. Yeah, but I do, I mean, I made a point all along to kind of go, I need to know this, right? As much as I can. Of course, there's always more work to be done, but generally I think if you know your fretboard, it's kind of like a builder knowing their tools, right? So that's just, you just got to spend time doing that. And he said, your phrasing is super. Well, thank you very much, but my phrasing is something that I work on all the time. Various ways I do that. There's things like, singing your phrases to make sure you leave gaps and that you shape things nicely and try and think lyrically. That's kind of, all those things sort of inform your phrasing. He had some questions. He said, I'm wondering if you might consider making a video that might help us less gifted folks that perhaps know the five pentatonic shapes, but not nearly as well as you. Okay, so there's one thing that I find a lot. People say they know the 5 shapes of the pentatonic, and then usually what I find is they know shape number 1, maybe one other, and that's about it, right? So the first thing you need to do is identify which ones you know and which ones you don't, right? If you know, right? Great. But do you know shape 2 in A minor? If you don't, then go about learning that one. Maybe that's the one you do. Look up shape 3. Right, I'm doing them all in A minor. I've actually done heaps of videos on pentatonic before, so look back on my past catalogue of Guitar Daily and you can kind of see all the shapes. They're also on my Nick Granville music page on Facebook. I've done a diagram with all 5 shapes. You can get that. But first thing to do is figure out what you know and what you don't, and be super critical about it. One of the best things you can do is like record yourself doing this and be critical of yourself. Go, right, yeah, did I really nail that 3rd shape? Did I know it if I did this with it or that with it, or maybe string skipping or groups of 3s or groups of 4s or groups of 5s or whatever you can do with it to sort of test yourself to see where you know. If you do find a weakness and you go, okay, shape number 3 is kind of weak for me, spend some time on it, right? Maybe if it's like next time you're playing through a blues or something, you just go, see if you can make good music with it, not just like a whole lot of bullshit, because anyone can play, bullshit. And just see where you're at, where your knowledge of that is at, right? That would be one thing I definitely suggest you do, right? Is just isolate the problems. The next thing I'd say, if you want to kind of get a deeper understanding of it, is do it in all keys, right? Most guitar players tend to favor like 1 or 2 keys, A minor, E minor, this sort of stuff. Try playing in B flat more often, or G flat, or D flat, and just that'll force you to kind of go deeper on those. So that's these are all the things that I've done to get to know these on a deeper level, right? And there's always more work. I'm always finding out more stuff about this. Whenever I think, oh yeah, I've got this down, something new comes along and I go, gee, I didn't think about that. All right. That's kind of answered the next part of the question was, how did you develop such incredible knowledge and fluidity? So fluidity is an interesting thing, isn't it? That's really about your ideas being able to flow. So I think knowing the fretboard and knowing your materials is like step 1, because nothing is going to flow unless you know that much of it, right? And then how do you get it to flow? Well, you've got to do something a lot, right? I've played a lot of guitar. Even just in the last month of doing this theatre show for We Will Rock You, I played a lot of guitar this last week, right? It's been crazy, like 3-hour shows. I got a guitar solo in every song. And that's typical of a lot of shows I do, because a lot of shows are they like the rock guitar thing. So, I play a lot. And the thing is, if you put your focus on something and you do it over a long period of time, you just keep at it, you're going to get better, right? As long as you're being smart about it and not just like doing stupid stuff, right? If you're developing bad technique in the process, well, then you're just going to have bad technique. But if you're doing everything right and you're working towards a goal, it'll become more fluid, right? The other thing too I would say with that stuff is just think carefully about what your goals are. For me, my goals for a while were kind of the shred rock thing. I went through that phase when I was a teenager. I was right into it. I wanted to be able to do all that. You know, my goals of the last 10 years, probably 15 years, have been quite different. It's been like more about groove and sound, and you know, I still want to be able to have the facility to play all the music I need to play, but it's not the only thing, right? So yeah, anyway, I hope that helps. Are there exercises, drills? Yeah, there are heaps of exercises and drills out there. I'm not going to go into them today because that's kind of being done to death. Have a look on YouTube, you'll find heaps of them. Have a look at old guitar player magazines, they've all been done in there. There's that Steve Vai 10-hour workout, look that one up. But I like, the things I like doing, to be honest, you know, there's all those drills that other people do. The best ones I found are the ones I come up with for myself, right? So something like... That's something I've never done before. I just had an idea, what would happen if I do this, right? And I can already see some deficiencies in that for me. So that might be something that I go away and work on for a little while until I can do it comfortably. And then I'll move on to doing something different. Because the thing I find, if you do the same things all the time, is you get the same result, right? If we're after new results, then we need to be doing new things, provided we've got the thing down that we were trying to do in the first place, right? I won't move on to that from that lick until I've really kind of got that exercise or drill. So those have been the best exercises and drills I find, is the ones that I come up with for myself. You might recommend to get deeper into the minor pentatonics. I'd love to hear your thoughts regarding this, and I'm sure many others would also. Yeah, that's what I was thinking by doing this, is kind of be useful for us all, I think. Thanks for the great videos you're making. I can't say I've watched them all, but I say that I've enjoyed all that I've watched. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, I realize that I'm doing these every day, and for some people it's kind of going to check in when you're going to do it. And then, you know, maybe you'll get busy and whatever, and yeah, that's how it goes. You know, that's why this stuff, I like that there's kind of almost an archive of these ideas and things. So, yeah, minor pentatonic. To me, it's an interesting thing, isn't it? Because I know it's seen as this beginner scale, but to me, I love playing it. You know what I mean? Like sometimes just... To me, I'm hearing music out of that, right? Music that I'd want to, like, express something to an audience about. Do you know what I mean? You know, while it's great to play chord changes and trying to work on all these fancy things, sometimes it's just, the music just requires something simple and to the point. And I think that's kind of a key thing in music, is just to remember that, you know, it doesn't have to be complicated to be good, right? Look at the blues, you know, the way B.B. King just plays just totally kills me. Every time I hear anything by B.B. King, I just go, wow. And it's not overly complicated. But that's not the point. It's just great. And to me, if it's great, that's all that really matters. So I hope this has been useful to you. Maybe even it's been a great lesson. If so, please like and subscribe. The Buy Me a Coffee thing is set up below if you want to do that. Yeah, otherwise I'll play you out on some more minor pentatonic stuff. I'm gonna chase some things here. It's not gonna be like anything kind of standard.